Hello, Mastertron Tamer here. So, for this installment, I thought what we would do is take advantage of our dual filament capability and load one of the filaments up with special support material filament. We'll be trying both the breakaway filament and the water-soluble filament. So let's go ahead, let's jump into some software and make our design, and then we will see what we get. Okay, for this project, I'm going to do a variation on the block that we've been using before, but I've got a really cool idea on what we can do with it. So let's go ahead and get that design going. You can see I've already got the block up, and I've also got an alignment block in place. This is going to help me place the logo from top to bottom. The alignment block is 48 millimeters, which is this height. It's just going to make that a little bit easier to align. So I'll import it, grab my vector, and say open. All right. Now I can go ahead and say import. Oh, no, see, it's too big. Let me fix that. From playing with this before, I know that 2.6 will get me the size I'm after. So I'm going to go ahead and now say import. Give that just a moment to import. And it's in. And no doubt it's put it down here. So let's grab that and pull it out. And flip it up and around the way we want it. There. All right, so now, one other thing, I want to make this a little deeper than it is. So let me do that. All right. So that's good. And now to align it top to bottom, we'll use our alignment block. Click on it, pick the center up. It didn't go. Let's do it one more time. Pick that. All right. We shouldn't need this anymore, so I'll go ahead and get rid of that. And now we'll align it left to right. Pick the block. We'll have to tilt it so that we see this little dot down here. Click that. And we can double check that alignment. And this gray dot tells us we're aligned left to right. So we're good. All right. Now I just want to slide that into the model. And bring it back at least one. And then I'm going to come over here and select hole because I want to make a hole in that logo. So that's going to hollow out into this wall the logo. And if you're curious why I'm doing this, I had this idea that I could put lights behind it. I thought that would make a fun project. So to do that though, I need to carve out some of this inside of the block. Well, that's easy. We can do that by bringing over another block and making it the right size. Turns out that 20 this way is good. So we'll leave that. Here, I'm going to change it to 100. And then For a height, I'm going to go ahead and change that to 44 because it's 48 high. Yep, 44 is what I want. So I'll put in 44 for that. And now it's what I want. The only thing left now is to get it into alignment. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll click the block, align to the block. That's me. All right. Align to the block. Click the block. And a few things are already aligned. We see that this one is grayed, so we're aligned that way to the bottom, but not left to right. We'll need to click this one. That will align us left to right. And then I also want to align it to the front. And I'll show you why I'm going to do this here in just a second. But now we see the block sticks out there, but I'm going to push it back. The wall is 9 millimeters thick. I've got my snap to grid set to 1, so I should be able to count these. 1, 2, messed up. Let me undo that. I had too many things selected. There we go. Now we're back where we were. Okay. Got ahead of myself. Just need to select the block. It's still aligned. You can kind of tell that by how it flashes when you move it. All right. Now I want to move the block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And let's look under here. We'll even zoom way in to see if this looks right to us. And it does. It's right on the edge, right there where we want it. I want to also verify that my logo is still sticking out because I moved the block. I didn't want to cause any trouble. Nope, that still looks good. So now what we want to do to the block is make it negative or a hole. And that should carve me out plenty of room. Oh, let me center this again. Whoa, maybe not quite that far. But that should carve me out just enough room so that I can put lights behind this. So that should take care of it. All that's left now is to select all and then do an export. As an STL file. And it says it exported it. All right. So let's jump in to the Snapmaker software and bring it in here. So I've got this off on another screen over here. Let me grab it real quick. Okay. Let me grab it. And drop it. All right, we're looking at the top view. Let's look at that front view for a second. And I think we want the left view. And move it over here a little bit. Yep, we're seeing through it. And I think we've got the hole right where we want it. that we can go ahead now and we can print that, and it should make out these hollow ideas. So the whole reason I'm doing this is this would have been next to impossible to do without having support. And regular support would be very difficult to remove. And I thought, well, let's try the breakaway support, and let's try the water-soluble support, and to fill in that in and see what we get. So that's what we're going to do. So I've played with this a little bit, and there are a few settings I want to show you to do this. So when I first went in here, I set the left and right extruders to be what I would have expected. This is the one I was going to use for my PLA. And then the right, I wanted to use the breakaway support material. So I selected both of those and basically thought I was good to go. I went ahead and generated the G-code and found out it was still building the support out of the same material from the left, the PLA. Well, there was a step that I missed, and I didn't actually find this in the documents when I was hunting around, but I did find it eventually. And it's down here under helpers. So under helpers, you need to tell it which extruder you want to do different things. And the first one is adhesion. So if we were going to put a raft or a skirt on it, which extruder do we want to use for that? Well, the one loaded with the PLA, that's the left. That's the one we would use for it. But for support, and this is where it was wrong when I tried this the first time, it was also set to left. And you have to come in here and say that what you want to use that you want to use the right extruder for support. Once you've selected that, it will know what to do and will use the right material. Now, the right extruder. And if you get that wrong, you'll know, because as soon as you generate the G-code, well, here, let me show you. Might as well just show you how this works when it's wrong. So if I was to say for support, I wanted to use the left one. So now it's left and left. When I generate G-code, it will be instantly apparent I'm not getting what I want. Almost there. All right. So once that finishes, we can preview it. There we go. So if we switch to the top view, that's this one, and we go down through the layers, let me bring it up. Well, actually, this time, I just see my hole. I don't see any support in there at all. Anyways, when I did this before, it was building these support structures out of this PLA. So let's first fix it back the way it's supposed to be. That will force us to regenerate it. But before we do that, and let me get this, see if I can get this back over to center a little bit. There, that's better. And maybe the left view, and maybe we lift it up. There we go. So let me show you a couple of other settings that are going to be important under parameters here. So I didn't have to mess with the left extruder settings very much for this to work, because what we wanted to do was with the right primarily. But if we go down here to support structure, we just need to make sure that support is turned on, and that might be our problem. I see. But that's going to be over here on the right extruder, because that's where we're going to do our support. Right. So we say normal, and there are a couple of different ways you can do it. Tree, let me scroll this down, is really exotic and can save you material and time. However, it requires really good adhesion down here. So for this, I didn't think there would be much benefit to a tree structure. So we're going to do this normal support structure. I didn't change any of these densities. I left placement at everywhere. But there is one setting that does need tweaking, and it's right here, reliable or removable, or no gap whatsoever. So from learning about this and experimenting a little bit, when we're using the breakaway material, it worked best if we selected removable. The water-soluble material can work with reliable or removable, but reliable is going to get you a little tighter look. So when you're working with the water-soluble, set it to reliable. When you're working with the breakaway, use removable. I tried the breakaway the first time with the other setting, with reliable, and it was still very difficult to remove from the intricate design. So anyways, for this one, because we've told it to use breakaway, we're going to use removable. And then I don't think we need to change a lot of other settings. And we should be able to just go ahead and generate the G-code again. All right, it's gone ahead and done it. Let's take a look at it, maybe from the top view, just to try and verify that we got what we thought we were going to get. And see where the support material ended up. And we're going to turn off X-ray here for a second, because that puts more confusion in there. So here you see the support material that it's built into our void that we want, that 20 millimeter void in the back. That all looks right. When we look at the front, oh, that's not the front, that is. We should be able to see it, put the material into the lettering for us too. So that, yeah, it's going to fill that in for us. I can see it up here in the top of the T's, and good. One more thing I wanted to mention that I kind of forgot to. This block design is deliberately designed so that it doesn't normally need support. It's got arches in here. One more parameter I had to tweak so it didn't try and put support in places it didn't need it was the angle that it was using for support. And I think I had to set it from 45 to 50 in order to get that to not do it. And that was fine. So you might have to also change that setting as well, depending upon whatever you're trying to print. Like I said, this has got built into it at an angle on purpose, and I just needed to adjust that parameter, and it was happy. Okay, I think we've got what we want now, and this should be all set to do the breakaway. So we've been through this before, but you know the steps. We go export, we say load it to workspace, then we connect, and then we send it to the device. Don't currently have it on, so I'm not going to do that step right now. All right, so what am I going to do next? So what I will do is I'm going to go ahead and print these both ways. I'll print one using the breakaway support, using that easy to remove setting, and then I'll print another full block with the more precision setting, and then we'll see what we get. Now that's going to take some time, so lucky for you, you get to cut to the future, and we'll take a look at those. So I'll see you then. Okay, I've got our breakaway support block here all printed up and ready to go. You can see here it's printed the breakaway support material right in that void where I want to have the ability to add lights later. That part looks good. If I flip it up here, we can see that it's put the material in the top sections of the T, which I would have expected, and right here in the M's too. And we only have it where we want it, and if you remember, that was by changing the angle setting. So I'm kind of dying to see how well this works. I've been waiting so I could show you. So let's go ahead and see if we can pull this out of here. Well, it's noisy. Let's get some of this out. Well, it's not breaking quite as well as I would have liked, but that's okay. I have a feeling I'm going to make a mess here. This is mainly coming out of the void, not from the character. Well, I don't see it coming. Oh, this one did come out, so that's good. I see a little bit of residue here that I will probably have to clean out with a knife. But I did pull that one out. Let me see if I can get the other one here. Nope, I don't think that one's going to go. Let me see if I can give it a gentle push from this side. Well, that's part of it. Let me see what else we might use to try and get that out of there. Let's try a handy dandy all-purpose tool. Alright, I think that's pushed that out enough that it can be pulled the rest of the way. It's gotten most of that one out. And let's see if we can get the top parts of the M out. Well, one of them did pull out. This one. This one not so much. Let's see if we can get it. Yeah, there's a little residue. This might also need to be cleaned up with a knife. But we're getting there. Then I'm a little worried that these top parts of the T are not going to be easy to remove. Yeah, even with that tweaking with those settings, this is still very hard to get certain parts of the lettering out. And as you can see, I'm finally cleaning out the top. That doesn't look too hard to do. But I'm not sure. So this is going to take some more work, but I think I can get these clear. But for this, I may have found the match. I may have not been able to do something like this easily. So I think what I'll do, one, I need to clean this up, But two, I'm going to go ahead and keep working on this. I plan on using this in our next video. So I can take my time and clean that out properly. But so the vertical and slanted ones, not too bad. I have a little bit of material left I need to clean out. But the T is going to take some work. That's just not going to be easy. I have a little tiny file, and I may have to use that in there to clean it out. So for this particular application, I don't think the breakaway was the solution. Yeah. Now, that's not really fair to the material, though. This breakaway stuff is typically used like, oh, say you were doing a figurine that had an arm that was sticking out or something like that. For that type of an application, I think it would work fine. I don't think that there would be any issue at all. Just if you had little minor overhangs. I'm kind of stress testing this to kind of the worst possible situation for the material, and it's not working for that. So I don't fault it in that case. Like I said, I think for many applications this breakaway material would be fine. All right, rather than have you watch me struggle with this for another hour, which is what it would take maybe to get that the way I want it, I think we'll move on to the next one. I also need to clean up this mess a little bit. Let me clean this up, and I'll get set up for the other one, and we'll see if we get a different result. Okay, let's take a look at the results we got from the water-soluble material. It's got this stringiness on the front. I don't think that's going to be an issue. It was also kind of stringy on the inside. I also don't think that's going to affect anything seriously. We'll just clean that off. It built a very similar structure that it built for the breakaway, and we could put this in the water and melt it all, but that just seems like work that isn't really needed. I did want to point out that I used glue stick to make sure that this stayed on the build plate, and it tore off part of it and left it on the build plate, and I had to clean that back up. So I'm not sure you absolutely needed glue stick for it. I think for this material, the breakaway material, you probably do. But let me go ahead, and I'm going to remove as much of this ahead of time as I can, and it's much more breakaway, that's for sure, than the other material. And I think anything that we can pull off ahead of it is going to make less mess. It's where it's not wanting to pull it out, is where those T-tops are, where we had trouble before. It is pulling out of everywhere else, though, just the old-fashioned way. And that came right off. This is the top interface plate it built. It's gorgeous down there, except for some of this leftover stuff. And it looks pretty good here, except for the top of the T's. So this is the test. I've got our warm water here, which is supposed to be all we need. I'll put it in there for a couple of minutes. It wants to float because there's air in it. I guess that's good because it means it's not soaking up the water. And we're supposed to give it a moment to see if that will soften. Just a little impatient, and I want to look at what I'm getting over here. Well, it is melting and cleaning off the front real nice, like I kind of thought it would. Let's give it another moment. All right. Well, let's see if with that softening, just how hard it is to push this out now. Oh, cake. Still going to take a little bit of cleanup work, and I didn't soak it very long. But by even doing what I'm doing here, I think it will allow the water to get in there into more of the material. Oh, but it is coming out the back. So let me grab it. Might as well get rid of it. More came out of the middle one than this one. Alright, let's give it a few more moments to soak. Now that the water can get all inside of that little part. Yeah, it's already coming out much better than the other. And I'll go ahead, like always, and put links for the materials that I used, in case you want to pick up the same stuff. And I'm going to kind of agitate it a little bit, because that's kind of forcing the water in and around the top of that T. All right, I think that is just about there. I could give it another little bit of cleanup. But I mean, time-wise, I mean, this is incredibly better. I think the material itself is a little harder to print with, but I mean, the results and the time that is saved later, because I'm looking probably 30 minutes to an hour to finish cleaning out the top of those T pieces. I'll get them cleaned out, but it will be some work. When here, just the warm water is doing all the work. It's still warm? Yeah, it's okay. They definitely said warm water worked better. I need to think of what I could use to kind of pull out the rest of that in there. It's just that it's just kind of messy sticking in there now. But yeah, I think all in all, I'm pretty happy with that. I'll have to do some minor clean out. To get the last little sticky bits out of there. And I think we're good though. So let me just show you the result. Yeah. So much better. So I'm happy with both of them, but I'm much happier with this one. For this kind of an intricate design, it seems like the water soluble is the way to go. So what are we going to do with this? I'll clean them both up, but the next step in this process, what I want to do is we will build a circuit to put behind there so we can light those up, and I think it'll look really cool with being lit up. So that'll be for the next episode. So I hope you found this useful as you're trying to decide what projects you want to use for your projects. I hope you found this useful. I hope you, if you have any questions about anything about how I did it, please leave me a comment. Even if you just want to say hi, leave a comment. That's cool too. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. And I'll see you in our next video.